Nice. And a last question about production. Since I've started to make my own stuff, I kind of saw how important the bass is in a band because I'm mainly a guitar player. So
Yeah.
I've always, when I started recording, I've always thought with a guitar player's mind. So if I feel that something is missing something, I'll add more guitars. I'm not even speaking about more notes, about more sound, more guitar, get it higher. And it's always missing something. And with the bass, things get, you know, uh, and here in Brazil, the most famous music producers are bass players. You are a bass player. Do you agree that being a bass player helps you to like see the song from a different point of view? This is why most of bass players end up being great producers.
Well, basically, yes. And the reason for that is because as a bass player, you are making a fundament. You are setting the floor for the music, okay? And when you're sitting there playing your basic fundament, while the other guys are struggling to keep the riff going and not fuck up the solo, you're listening. You're going, this isn't working. These notes are weird. You guys are playing some strange shit together. I can tell because I'm just going, blah, 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 and I can hear you guys really well. I don't know if you noticed, but this isn't working. I think what I've always said, I think bass players are just frustrated because bass players are not very interesting and they have very little to do in the band. So they start producing because they want to get more involved in music rather than just sit there and play their four string, you know? Very, very many examples of this. In metal, it really seems to be common that bass players just want to be more involved in the song, and then they end up getting into production because they're more involved in the songwriting and the recordings. For myself, as I was always a songwriter too, but I noticed quickly being a bass player is, you know, you've got the least amount of stuff to do. I'd go to record the early Pink Cream records. I needed 2 days for bass, maybe, and then I'm done. And then Alfred's in there playing day after day and riffs and fills and solos and I'm like, oh, fucking hell. So all you do is sit and listen, you know, and you realize, oh, that's not working. Then you start having opinions about things and realizing why things are working or why they're not working. And you can offer then ideas maybe based on what the information you're gathering from listening. And bass players are often simply in that situation where they have nothing better to do but to listen and judge. So they become producers.
Yeah. And as a musician, are you okay to be in a band as a musician and having a producer? You being a producer, is it okay for you, or is it
absolutely, absolutely, no problem at all? I mean, I work here. I play bass for Magnum, and in this band, all I do is play bass and sing backing vocals. Mm-hmm. So the songs are done. I am not involved in songwriting. I record my own bass because I can. It's just easy. And I get my notes. I'm basically being told what to do, what to watch out for. And, you know, I do my thing and send it to them. And I'm not involved in the recording, in the mixing or anything whatsoever. And it's kind of cool because I do like to be just a musician too. It's fun. And this has to be, you know, cleared when you're in a band. What is your role in the band? And if I were to get hired by, I don't know, whatever band as the bass player, and I was explained, your job is playing bass, shut your mouth, just play bass. Okay, fine with me. That's fine. I don't have to write songs. You know, bands like Magnum, I have to use it as an example, not only because I'm in the band, but because I've seen how they work. Tony, the guitar player, the main songwriter, has been doing his thing for 30-something years, right? Always the same way, and you know he's getting his results. All the Magnum albums have a Magnum sound. It's so special, and I honestly think if I were to come in and throw in one of my songs, they'd probably fuck it all up. So what's the point? You know, the way they work, they do it so well together. Why should I be involved? What's the point? If I was asked, sure, I'd be happy to help, no problem. But I understand that they want to do it their way, and I have to totally respect that. As like working with Kiko. He has this thing. He knows what he wants to do. He's got a basic plan. He just needs somebody to guide and oversee everything, right? And when a musician or artist confronts you and tells you that's what they want from you, as a producer, bass player, whatever, you have to respect that, or else you're just going to make your life miserable. There's sometimes for me, it's very annoying to hear some musicians in whatever bands, and they're saying, oh, I'd like to write songs, but nobody wants to hear my songs. I'm like, well, have you ever written songs? Oh, yeah. And they don't like them? I'm like, no. Well, let's hear one. And they listen to one and go, well, kind of know why, man. They're not very good, you know? So don't take it personally. Just keep writing songs till it gets better. Or maybe that's just the situation. There's some bands where the guitar player just writes all the songs, and that's what he wants. He insists on it. And if you join a band knowing that, and you're aware of it, you just have to accept it and say, I want to be involved in this band because I want to play my bass, or I don't want to be involved because I want to write songs too. Then it's a wrong band for you. Then you got to find something else to do. It's that simple.
Yes.